Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. Thanks for watching my video. I'm a huge Beatle fan, and today I'm going to be reviewing a classic solo Beatle album. This one comes from Ringo Starr. It's called Goodnight Vienna. It was his fourth solo album. It was released in 1974 in November of that year. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my videos yet, please do so to my channel so you'll continue to get updates. This one was hot off the heels of his prior solo album, his very successful Ringo album from the prior year. He used a similar formula once again. Similar formula, let's hire one of the hottest producers around, Richard Perry. Again, he produced this album, he did a great job on it. A little more sparse in production than the prior one, but excellent, A+. Also, with the formula, let's get a bunch of our friends, very talented musicians, ask them maybe to write a song and perform on the album too. He scored very well with that. Let's ask some fellow Beatles if they want to help out. You got John Lennon. And let's just try to have a good time, convey that to the listener, and the listener have a good time enjoying the music. And I think he delivered in many of those respects. Before I start telling you about it, Goodnight Vienna is English slang for it's all over. And it was a song that was written by John Lennon for Ringo for this album. The cover is from a 1951 science fiction classic, The Day the Earth Stood Still. And it shows an alien here. Now Ringo's head is inserted where the alien was, quite honestly, so Ringo had nothing to do with it. But the movie dealt with an anti-nuclear war message that the alien delivered to Earth. And he came in peace. I'm not sure Ringo's overall message. Maybe it's a combination of that, the peace part. Ringo's always doing the peace sign, so that's always fun. Anyway, you know, the other thing is, like I said, with Ringo you can always count on most of the time having a good time and him delivering. And I think he was just kind of having some fun with this theme. All right, well, from the research I did, this was a top 10 album here in America. It went gold. It had 2 top 10 hits on it. Not bad. And it had just a lot of very talented people that contributed to this album. I wanted to tell you about some of them right now. A lot of piano players are on this album. It's, you know, for a drummer, it's very high. A lot of piano is on this album. You have players like John Lennon playing piano, Elton John playing piano, Dr. John playing piano. Let's see, who else was on it? Nicky Hopkins, famous session musician, worked with the Stones most of the time. He was on here. Billy Preston, David Foster. And that's the thing I was kind of interesting. The other thing too, there was a lot of black female voices on some of the rockers on here, and I was surprised about that. I know, very popular at the time. You know, with a Beatle album, you wouldn't get female voices, but you did on this album. Well, until Phil Spector got a hold of Let It Be, you know, pretty much. So let me start out telling you the title cut. This album was recorded in August of '74, by the way. It was recorded in Los Angeles, in Sunset Studios and the producer's workshop. So it was done within a month. It doesn't sound like it was rushed by any means. I think what it was is I think you just had very talented musicians. Some of them brought their own songs. So, you know, it didn't sound, you know, it didn't sound like, okay, we'll just do a take of this and then we're done. It sounded very accomplished. In June of '74, in the middle of June, Ringo had telephoned John Lennon and said, hey John, you know, I'm working on a new album. Could you contribute? Could you maybe write a song and then come to the sessions? So John said sure. John was already working on his Walls and Bridges album, getting that underway, but he was happy to help a fellow Beatle out, and he did. So within 2 weeks he had a song called It's All Down to Goodnight Vienna. He recorded it with Ringo. He played piano on it. He also has a count-in on that. There's a reprise on that also, you know, an ending song, Goodnight Vienna. It's a fun song, you know. It's a nice rocker. It's kind of like Of Good Things to Come. It's not a hit by any means, but it's clever. It was fun, and it's also just nice knowing that John's on it. You can hear him a little bit. I thought it delivered very well. The next song is called Acapella. Acapella is an okay song. It's one of those that grew on me. To be honest with you, I haven't listened to this album since high school, so it's been a long time. I listened to it though several times before I wanted to do the review, and each time I listened to this album it got better and better. This is one of those songs that didn't care for it at the beginning. As I've listened to it more and more, it grows on me. It's got Dr. John playing piano on this one, which is good. Again, you know, I'm talking about the piano emphasis on this album. It's an okay song. I think it's a good filler for a Ringo Starr album. The next song is called Ooh Wee. Ooh Wee also has Dr. John on piano. And I like this song a lot. This was a good rocker. It was one of 3 songs that Ringo wrote. He wrote 2 songs, this and another song, with his writing partner at the time, Vinnie Poncia. And they did a great job. I like the lyrics on here. It's fast, it's up-tempo, it's just good time music, and it's really catchy too. The next song is called Husbands and Wives. Now, Husbands and Wives, to be honest with you, doesn't really do much for me. Okay, it's a Roger Miller song, King of the Road. You know, I like Roger Miller, but this song I was like, you know, Ringo doing it. I don't know, I was thinking about this. Part of maybe some of the selections and material on here, or what he chose to write about, was the fact that Ringo was going through a very difficult time in his personal life. His marriage was falling apart. He would soon separate, and then from his first wife and divorce, his first wife being Maureen. So I don't know if that's why he picked this or not, but it's very downtrodden, and it really doesn't do much for me with him singing it. The next song that would close the first side is called Snookeroo. Snookeroo was an Elton John, Bernie Taupin song. Elton John plays piano on it. I like it. I've always liked it. I remember hearing it in high school when I first listened to the album. It's a catchy song. It's obvious. There's, you know, references to Liverpool Lad, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it was written for Ringo, about Ringo, and, you know, just the happy-go-lucky average guy that Ringo is, though he happens to be a rock star. I don't know what Snookeroo means. I'm not sure. But they did a really good job, and it's a fun song. I really like it a lot. I think it's one of the better songs on the album. Well, the next song is called All By Myself. This is another song. This starts side 2, and this is a song that Ringo and his writing partner Vinnie wrote together. It's okay. Initially, when I saw the title All By Myself, I was thinking of the Eric Carmen song, and I was like, no, don't let him cover that, you know. And no, it's a song that he wrote, and John Lennon plays guitar on it, which is also another plus. I like that a lot. It's okay. You know, it's one of those songs that kind of grows on me. Again, you know, you listen to albums maybe the first time, you know, like Paul McCartney, same thing. You listen to it the first time, and then it just grows and grows with repeated listenings. I like it. It's okay, you know. All right, next song is called Call Me. This was the song that Ringo wrote by himself. And I tell you, I have to just tell you, it sounds so much like this could have been on the White Album by the Beatles. Very simple lyrics. It is so Ringo. I like it though. I really like it a lot. Very good character. A lot of fun. The No No song is the next song. This was a cover. Harry Nilsson played on this. And I like this too. This was a number 3 hit here in America. It is a song that is basically talking about someone who is reformed. You know, they're no longer doing drugs. I stay away from drugs, cocaine, marijuana. I don't drink anymore, no moonshine, none of that stuff. He's just leading a clean life. It's fun. You know, I wanted to say Ringo had a successful solo career, but I think that if he would have ventured out, reminds me very much of Jimmy Buffett territory. If he would have ventured out in that area, I think he would have had even a bigger successful solo career, in my opinion. All right, next song is called Only You. This is a song that was, again, part of the formula. Let's find an old song that everybody knows, everybody remembers, and we'll put Ringo's vocals on it, singing the song. And sure enough, John Lennon suggested it to Ringo. They cut it. Actually, there is a, on the John Lennon anthology, there's a guide vocal of John singing initially, and then later Ringo, put his voice over it. Top 10 hit, I think it was number 8 here in the States. Like it a lot. No No song, I know Harry Nilsson was on the No No song, and he also wrote the next song I'm going to talk about, Easy for You. Harry sang backing on some other songs on this album too. Oh, and one more thing, Robbie Robertson played guitar on Snookeroo. So I wanted to make mention of that too. I'm just trying to let everybody know that there was very many talented people that played on this album. Only You and You Alone is the Platters song. Big song from the 50s. I think it was a hit in 55. Just like You're 16, the prior year, which was a #1 for Ringo. That cover song, he decided to do another cover, and he scored very well with it. All right, Easy for Me. That is Harry Nilsson. This is interesting because it's a lush orchestra. Sort of in the vein of Goodnight off the White Album that Ringo sings from the Beatles. But not quite, but kind of that taste, that feel. I like it a lot, I really do. I think he did a good job. Sometimes with Ringo, you just think, I don't know if this is going to work. But, he pulled it off really well. And then the last song on it is the reprise for It's All Down to Goodnight Vienna, which was John's song. John is funny on the count on here. The count, and he's saying, okay, boys, let's do it more with gusto. Come on, boys. And you can hear John Lennon saying that, and then they're starting to play. They're saying their goodbyes on the album, and it was a lot of fun. It did a good job on that. Only You also featured also featured John on piano. If you had the CD of this, there were some bonus tracks that were on there. You had the Back Off Boogaloo 1972 single that Ringo wrote that song, and the song, the B-side, Blind Man. I like both those songs. Back Off Boogaloo was just a lot of fun. Blind Man was interesting. It was interesting, like Moog synthesizer music on it. I found that. Also, this is a little different territory for Ringo. And then the extended version of 6 O'Clock, which Paul had contributed. That was from the Ringo album, and this was a little bit longer, and you hear also Paul sharing some backing vocals at the end, and his vocals being a little more pronounced as they continued to fade out. I think it was like another minute and a half. Pretty interesting. Well, if I was to rate this album from 1 to 10, how would I rate it? I would rate it a 5. 5 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good album by Ringo. I think he delivers for the most part. Some of it is rock and some of it's not. That's the thing I also found surprising. And the other thing I wanted to show you too, oh, this is the back side. And this was interesting. There's lyrics here, and I found this, I love this. I had not realized this because I haven't looked at it for a while. You've got John Lennon right up here, and then you have John Lennon singing, and it's very interesting because May Pang is also on this, and she's right there with John, and she's singing with him. This was during John's Lost Weekend, so Ringo was nowhere in the picture, and as you can see, John looks like he's enjoying himself and having a good time. It's really too bad. I wonder how life would have been without, if he would have just continued this way. So anyway, that is my review. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a good day. Take care.